Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. Um, I heard we needed an intro, so.
Beautiful, beautiful. I will cut that from the recording, and then that will be our staple from now on. Welcome to our show, everybody. We do it live here, obviously, so all of this will stay in. My name is Etienne, spelled the way you say it, and I'm joined by my good buddy Merlin. How are you, man?
I'm good on you. I'm good on you.
I can't
Excited to
complain.
be here.
I'm also quite excited. I'm excited, especially because today we're tackling one of the things I'm most. I'm always excited for it, but there are very few examples of it actually being good.
Oh, adaptations.
Adaptations, indeed.
Remakes, adaptations, remakes, and reboots.
Yes.
When you already have something you kind of love or absolutely love, and then make it again
Yes, but for a new audience,
for
which
a
is still
new.
the same audience because we're selling it to the people that like the first one. I don't know. It's their mythology, not ours. But we're just going to discuss it a little bit. But first
Okay.
things first, though, I see you have a bit of news for us, something you're excited from off our Comic Con.
I am. I am. The Sandman. We talked about it a little bit, but the Sandman. I am very excited for it. It is a adaptation of a DC comic book in a darker setting. Like Constantine vibes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Is it
but
set in the normal? Because for preparation, in preparation for this video, I did no research whatsoever. So I know nothing about this project or where it comes from. So I have a bunch of questions. Does it form part of the like normal DC universe? Is Batman, Superman, are those crossover characters, or is it its own thing?
I think it's gonna be its own thing, but it is also very strange. So it could be both at the same time. It can do that. I'm not gonna lie. Um, it is, as I said, it's a comic book adaptation. The writer was Neil Gaiman, so Stardust.
Ah, Neil
Yeah,
Gaiman of
yeah,
American Gods fame.
yes,
And
and Good
piggybacking
Omens.
of Terry Pratchett. That guy.
Yeah, but the Sandman is like his magnum opus, like his most acclaimed work, because it is
That's interesting.
off the balls. So we're gonna follow Tom Sturridge. Okay, is playing Morpheus.
Okay.
Um, that guy, yeah.
Oh, you
Uh,
mean the actor who played Morpheus in
yes, yes,
the
yes.
oh yeah, yeah. I kind of like that guy.
Okay, so Tom Sturridge, he's no, not the guy who plays Morpheus in Matrix. No, no, no,
Oh no, way
no,
off
no,
track.
no.
Yeah. Is the character's name
The
Morpheus?
character's name is Morpheus. He's literally Dream. He is the incarnation or personification of dreams.
Ooh,
Um,
wow.
yes, so he is one of seven endless creatures. Um, him being Dream. He's been locked away. He gets released. Someone has stolen some of his power, and they're wreaking havoc with it. I haven't read the graphic novel because read.
You're reading. That's for
No,
nerds.
but I do know about it because I'm a Gaiman fan, so I do know about it. So I'm actually really glad to see that we're getting a little adaptation for that. I think it's coming out next year. Uh, oh no, it's now. It's coming out now, the 5th
Yo,
of
that's like
August.
sneaky on them, eh? Because
Yeah,
usually everything is announced a year and ahead of advance.
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess we're a little bit trained to automatically assume it will be a while. That's exciting. You said something inflammatory just a second ago. You said you're a Neil Gaiman fan.
Yeah.
Explain yourself.
Is it? Is it?
It's
Um,
not that here's my problem with Neil Gaiman. He's an award-winning writer and world-renowned, so
mm,
you can't have much of a problem with him. But his stories, more often than not, feel like they were better ideas than the execution of it. I have read American Gods and I've watched the show, and it's not good. It's an amazing concept. It really is, and it allows for so much, but just the execution of it all is just, I don't know, man. Why
okay,
so,
okay, okay, okay. I
you see what I'm
have,
saying?
yeah, I have to agree with you. conceptually, the ideas are really, really great. Neil Gaiman ideas. American Gods, if you hear the pitch for it, how can you not be on board
Yeah,
with
exactly.
it?
When you
You
hear
know,
that thing, when you hear the synopsis, it's like, I want this now, give it to me. It has all of the things. But when you watch that show or read the book, there's an alarmingly lack of research. Like, if you're going to use the Egyptian god Anubis, then at least make him do something. You understand what I'm saying? If Odin, like, Odin does a lot, sure, but I don't know. It just didn't hit home for me exactly.
okay,
It was
how do
an
you
amazing
feel?
concept.
Okay, how do you feel about Stardust? That's actually my favorite.
Oh, that's
Yes, and,
interesting
and
choice.
and once again, I like the movie. I've read the book. That I do not like. Like I don't like his writing style. It doesn't
You know,
work for me.
it's long, man. It takes forever. It takes forever to
Yeah,
get to a point. But
um,
yeah, not bad. Again, conceptually great. I like the pirate ship that can fly. I like the fact that Robert De Niro is a cross-dresser. All of that works. All of that works well.
yeah.
I do not like that girl. I forget her name, but she plays the protagonist in Homeland as well. And it's I think there where it kind of broke it for me because I saw Homeland before I watched Stardust.
Oh, so she. Okay, okay. I have the same I have a strange problem with the Dwayne Rock Johnson. So um, he also breaks movies for me in the same kind of way. I think
Mhm.
it's because he's too much of a meme for me to actually get
Yeah.
immersed into a story because it's just like him the whole
Yeah,
time.
he
So
is a brand on his own. That's absolutely correct. It's also
yeah,
when I watch a Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie, I'm immediately tired because he feels like his residual energy, even on screen a million miles away, is like, good Lord, man, can you just take a fucking breath? Just slow down for a second.
and they could probably just make a series of movies and shows. Um, just The Rock, just
Yeah,
him.
they could. Just him, he plays all the characters, he does all the voices.
Yeah. like
And we would be up for that too. We would be, yeah, fuck
like
this. That's a
any.
Wednesday for me, man. Let's go.
That's brilliant. Now I want to see that. Just mm, everybody is just Dwayne Johnson. That would be excellent.
That would actually be excellent. You can have him as an old white lady. You can have him as an old um, black lady. I guess they can be friends, but he can also be the son of one and the nephew of the other. It writes itself. Warner Brothers, if you're listening to this, give us money for our Dwayne the Rock Johnson project.
Yeah, it's not Dwayne the Rock Johnson. But anyway, if we bring it back a bit, so no, Neil Gaiman stuff, yeah, conceptually good ideas, no execution, not too great. But this is also Netflix doing a TV series about it. So Netflix and their TV series, what you're going to do? They do good stuff, right? I just finished Castlevania, so
You finally got round to it. That show's amazing, right? We
yeah.
also just got finished with Stranger Things, well, as finished as the rest of the
Oh,
world is. It's good. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Netflix, their long form can be a little bit annoying from time to time.
okay, okay,
Their long form storytelling ideas that they have. But it is where it's good, it's really good. I
yeah.
have to agree with that. To what extent do we know is Neil Gaiman involved?
Oh, how much
The- yeah, how much
game in this?
how much Gaiman are we gonna have to sit through?
Oh,
Yes.
I'm not sure. They don't say, or perhaps they say, but I can't find it.
Okay,
I was just
so
focused. I was mostly focused on the cool magic parts because the guy is Dream, so there's some LSD level magic shenaniganery going on. The what's her name? Gwendolyn Christie, who played Brienne of Tarth and Captain Phasma.
oh yeah.
She's Lucifer in this show, which is
Uh,
delightful.
Fantastic. That is what we want. Yeah, I love Brienne of Tarth. I think she's an amazing actress. Yeah, bring it. That's awesome. I
No,
see Taron Edgington is also Taron, how do you fucking say his name? Taron Egerton. Egerton, whatever. The guy from Kingsman. He played what's his face? The Dancing Queen. Uh what is his name? Why is it escaping me now? Oh my word. But do you know who I'm talking about? The Kingsman actor.
Yeah. The young guy, the old guy.
Elton John. He played Elton John. That one.
Oh,
Also an amazing actor. I really like his
that's cool.
performance. That's
That's,
exciting, man. Did you ever watch Good Omens?
I watched Good Omens. I enjoyed it a lot. I also read the book. Enjoyed that a lot as well. Um,
That's also
but
amazing. Yeah.
I
But that's
obviously
also not fair to say it's a Neil Gaiman project because it does feel way more Terry Pratchett than it does Neil Gaiman. But good stuff. So if he does what he did on that show to this show, then we should all be in for a treat. I see executive producing Neil Gaiman and David S. Goyer, which is very exciting.
oh,
David S.
nice.
Goyer is famous for the Batman things, the ones we like.
The ones we like. Okay,
Mm.
that's really. Oh, talking about the Batman things, the ones we like. Did you see that uh, Nolan has a new project? He got a new announcement.
I did. I haven't. I'm very skeptical of the Tenet. I'm not gonna lie.
Uh,
Tenet hurt me a little bit, man, because I was excited for months. I was going around yelling at everyone. They better be ready. They better sharpen up what they know about time travel and quantum physics. We all need to be prepared. And then it was just wasn't.
okay, so this one isn't too crazy. It's nothing conceptual like that. It's just a biography of Oppenheimer. Um,
I
in
did actually. I saw a poster for that. It's the Peaky
yeah,
Blinders guy himself playing the role in
yeah. It
it.
looks beautiful. That's an interesting concept. I just wanted to throw that in.
No,
In the mix.
you can always bring your Nolan news to me. The man is a certified genius and one of my personal favorite movie makers of all time. He gets it, man. Inception, I will defend that shit to the day I die. And I
Yeah.
also like Dunkirk and Interstellar. Obviously, speaks for itself. So if he's going a little bit more, you think he did this because it's not a new project. He doesn't have to create a new world or write a story. He just has to adapt his filmmaking ideas, I
So,
guess.
so as far as I know, like the last I heard about it, and this is years ago, like 2 3 years ago. He kind of has a one for them, one for him kind of
I've
arrangement.
also heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, so this might be the one for them. Maybe it's the one for him. You don't know,
Yeah,
But
it will be the one for him if Oppenheimer goes to the future 1,000 years and sees his obituary and then tries to figure a way out to get back in time to fix it. That would be an Oppenheimer Nolan
okay, okay,
movie.
okay. So
So,
just remembered that they have a little timer. So the story, the trailer has a timer counting down to the bomb going off. So there might be a little bit of, jumping back and forth,
I hear you. Oh, that is
shenanigans.
very Nolan to add something like that. A clock. I
Yeah.
bet you it'll end up being something like from the moment he starts whatever the runtime of the movie,
Yes.
it was exactly that in real
Ah.
life as well. We'll probably have something like that as well. Like the
Yeah.
Titanic thing. Did you know Titanic? Since the scene in the movie where Titanic crashes, from that scene till the end of the movie is the exact amount of time it took the actual Titanic to sink.
That
Which
is
is
insane.
yeah, it elevates projects, I think, a little bit when you add stuff like that. That attention to detail must also be a slog in the editor's room. Can you imagine going, we can cut
Oh,
this and add this, but it still has to be this amount of time? That's quite impressive. But I hear you, that's exciting. But yeah, we're getting off track here. So Sandman,
Sandman. Okay, I think I've said most of what I wanted to say about the Sandman. It's coming to Netflix this week. I'm early, which is strange for me.
it is quite strange. Yeah. They usually don't do this. They usually allow for a bit of hype to build
Yeah,
up first. But shows,
and
especially adapted shows lately, have been getting tossed through the ringer a little bit. That Wheel of Time from
yeah.
Amazon is still getting crushed on the
Oh,
daily.
I've got a little list. So in preparation for um, adaptations we've seen, we want to see and everything, I kind of looked at re-adaptations a little bit as well. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
What is
um,
that? What is a re-adaptation?
oh, we're getting another Aragon, is what I mean.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but
an
I've got
adaptation of an adaptation.
yes, but
Do you think it has a soul then? Because clones of clones don't.
yo, do clones have souls?
I don't know. Depends on what universe you're in, I guess.
Okay, I guess I'm definitely on the train. if it's Clone Wars clones, like the animated shows, they definitely
Mm.
have souls. Those clones have souls. But if it's Attack of the Clones, no, those clones don't have souls. No soul.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
is a lot of fun to think of your clones having souls. Makes it easier to mow them
No,
down by the hundreds.
let's not. Let's not.
But that, yeah, it's the 5th of August. I'll keep an eye out. We'll probably do something on it as soon as it comes out. That is exciting. Sandman. Moving on, however, let's get into it. Adaptations. What do you got? What do you want to see? What have you seen that you liked? What did you see that you didn't like? Also, from this list, we're excluding anything that is have been announced to come out. So no, we're not doing Blade. We're not doing the Fantastic Four. We're not doing like anything that has been announced. This is
Fine.
specifically what has been done and what we'd like to see done.
So I stretched a little bit. There is a thing I would like to see adapted, and then there is someone who is the director, and there's a studio who has the rights, but there's nothing. There's no news or anything like that. It's the King Killer Chronicles. I don't know if you know it.
Mm-mm.
Pretty
I
sure.
am not familiar. It sounds like
Ooh.
an anime, if ever I've heard one.
It would make an excellent anime. It would make an excellent anime. So now it's an uncompleted trilogy. We're still waiting for the third book
Okay.
um, by Patrick Rothfuss, but it is an amazing read, especially a reread. A reread, it blows your mind. But yeah, so there's talks about making a little TV show about it. Not sure if that's getting out of development hell anytime.
Patrick Rufus, that's the you mentioning this guy. But isn't the strength of his writing in the writing? Like, isn't
Okay,
it?
yeah, it's
Mm,
this is actually so. This is actually a little thing I was thinking about it is the story would make a good adaptation, but it would probably end up being one of those adaptations that it lacks soul. Um, or lacks the vital spark of the work. As you said, his writing his prose is one of the major attractions. Is the way he tells a story is just intensely immersive.
because I
And
remember you said it's
yeah,
beautiful words, it's these
mm,
explanations, and
it's great. But now here's the thing. Now here's the thing. What I would actually like for this is not a major company to do it, which is strange for my first adaptation out of the gate. But I would actually like to see some people, because there's a lot of songs and poetry in the book as well. Our main character writes songs. He is a sort of a bard as well. So he
okay.
actually has songs and poetry in the book that the characters recite to each other. And I would actually enjoy people taking that up, making little covers, like
Mm.
interpreting the song and performing it. Now that's coupled with short animations of specific scenes in the story, I think would be absolutely great because there's specific scenes in the book that is visually in my mind so striking that you could make a 5 minute animated short of it, and I think it would be absolutely perfect for just depicting that scene out of context. I truly believe it will work, which is strange, putting something out of context and still working, but that's just part of the way that Rothfuss puts scenes together and puts stories together and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
that's interesting.
yeah,
But
that's
we're not getting that. This is a full live adaptation, right?
yeah. No, this is proper old school. We're gonna get a
Do you
protagonist,
think?
bunch of
Do you think a little bit is still because of Game of Thrones? Because I know they're also adapting the Raymond E. Feist magician novels. A lot of fantasy coming our way the next couple of years. Do you think
yeah,
it's they're still trying to get at that Game of Thrones money and fame?
100% still
Yeah,
trying to
no,
get that.
definitely they are, no, without a doubt. And
Yeah,
that's what Wheel of Time tried to do, it feels like as well. Like everyone just wants that GOT, bro.
they want their GOT. They want
Mm.
the GOT, or they want a an MCU because
Yes, that's it. They want a GOT or GOT equivalent or
yeah,
anything by the MCU, really. That's
yeah,
true.
that's how we're doing it at this point.
DC is just trailing the fuck along.
Oh, DC! I just want to give it my sandwich at lunch at the fourth
Yes,
day.
even me, man. I just want to let them on the team, even if it's for the last game of the season and we've already lost. Just let them
Yeah,
play.
yeah, yeah. And luckily, we're getting some because the Sandman is DC Comics. So eh, if they do the little bit, I guess, more out there things, they get a little market for themselves, which isn't too bad, I guess. Shame.
Yes, but it is also unfair to say that DC doesn't have its fans. Like they do, and those fans are pretty
Mm,
hardcore.
I
Remember
love
the
DC.
Snyder Cut? The fact that that happened is quite amazing, actually, because Hollywood generally doesn't go, we know we've made a mistake. Here's what you want. They don't do that. They go, you just better learn to live with Rise of Skywalker, or else no more Star Wars. That what you want? That's usually their
And
attitude.
I might want that.
Yeah, I also definitely want that. Give me another Rise of Skywalker. At least give me a cut edition of Rise of Skywalker that doesn't have so many fucking mistakes in it. At, at least that. That
Okay.
would be fine.
I'm sitting, and the more I think about it, the less I think the sequel trilogy is actually anything. Like, why do we have this story? Is my question. I can go
Why
on
can't
about
we?
I can go on about that for quite a bit because it takes the stories of the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy into account as well. So you mentioned this now. We're getting a lot of fantasy. We're getting a lot of adaptations at this point. People are hurrying for it. It is actually
Hmm.
that's the Comic Con news this week. We have a lot of things we already know just being expanded.
That's true. But it does feel like they don't want to take risks anymore. Like their aversion to risk. That's why we talked about it last week as well. Putting something like Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. That story could easily be any fantasy. It could be
Mm,
any fantasy world. It doesn't have to be connected to Dungeons and Dragons, which is, as you rightfully said, the beauty of Dungeons and Dragons is that you have all these
mm,
characters and
mm.
things, and you can construct your own narrative. It doesn't have to be tied to that IP to still be a standalone thing. Does, however, have to be tied to that IP if you want to make any money. But fantasy, in the same breath, feels like it is becoming more of its own. It's moving out of the niche market. It's no, you like have to be a
Yeah.
hardcore fantasy lover to appreciate a newly set world within a 2 hour movie. We are at the point where we're more than willing to do that. We will go, yeah, sure, you can introduce us to your world, explain a little bit of it, have a story set in it, and all of that is fine. We're not going to go afterwards, yeah, but it was unrealistic. It was so unrealistic. That's not the way anymore.
That's true. We've come a long way, both superhero and fantasy and sci-fi. I said both and then named three things. Beautiful. No,
Just if you act like you planned it and it's just a joke and it's fine, that's the key. That's live
apparently,
and the moment has passed now.
I would apparently I'll just mock myself. That's
Also, also a good way to go. If you mock yourself, no one else can.
oh yeah, I wear it like an armor, as the end says.
Exactly. But yeah, so we are getting a lot of fantasy things. But back on topic with adaptations and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Speaking
yeah.
about sci-fi, it has been done, and it's not necessarily bad. I know everyone hated it, but a RoboCop. Give me a new RoboCop, but I don't want him on a bike that looks like him. I want him in a normal cop car, like he was in the 80s. Because that's we watched RoboCop, we rewatched the other, and it's just absolutely charming watching this guy in a very obvious plastic suit getting out of a dead ass normal cop car. And then shooting a guy in the dick through some girl's skirt. That is, give me more of that. You know what I'm saying? He's just a cop. He's just also a robo.
Is okay. If you had to like pitch this, would you for your RoboCop? Would you go with someone a little bit more action or a little more comedy for the guy playing RoboCop?
You see, that again, this is things that we struggle with now because the originals didn't have these. They didn't have these points of contention. Like the original
Oh,
RoboCop is by no stretch of the imagination a comedy, but there are funny bits in it. But the other thing that it has, if you watch it now, like Murphy as a cop, he says two things which RoboCop later says. He says, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me."
yeah.
And the other thing, what's the other thing? Oh, it's the gun thing that he does, where it's not something he says. He like flips his gun and puts it into his holster. And then when he becomes RoboCop, he still says that thing, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." So now, looking back, we go, that's perfect setup. That is, he said it as a cop, and now the story is you can't make a man into a machine and expect him not to retain some of his human parts. So later in the movie, when he says that again as RoboCop, then the connection is made. But now going into it, the thing is they'll go, so he needs to say this, he needs to do the gun thing, and he needs this and this and this and this. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think you can just scrap all of that and just give me a new RoboCop or maybe even a sequel to the original.
Oh,
But that is difficult because he walks everywhere, and with modern technology, it's kind of like if you're building a cyborg and that
yeah.
can't run, or are you? What are you doing if you're building a cyborg cop that can't run? So it makes sense that the reboot would have him all like super nimble and things, but
Yeah.
it you can still have that. You can have a faster, meaner, stronger RoboCop that's more of a machine that can do the machine things because our technology applies for it. But he still needs that normal cop car. He's just a cop. He's on the force like everybody else, which makes it, I think, better overall because you accept like the other cops. He's not a hero to them. He doesn't come in and solve all their problems and now they can sit back and because the place is so horribly crime ridden. Like he's a good counterpoint for it, but he can't be everywhere.
Okay, okay. I see. Oh, I'm thinking about this, and it's sizzling in my brain because how do you make a RoboCop in a post Iron Man world? Because
That
if
is,
you go,
yeah, exactly. How do
because
you do that in a post Iron Man? He can fly and all of it, and your cyborg can't fly. Get fucking out of here.
get
Get out
out
of
of here.
here.
Okay, okay, but it would be interesting if he could fly and be super nimble and everything, uh, and still kind of ordinary in some way. That would.
Yes, you'll get ripped to shreds if you
So,
do that. If he
do
can
you
run
know?
and fly and do all of that, but then still be. But maybe that's why. Maybe that's how it will work. Also, without a doubt, if they do a RoboCop reboot, I'll bet you bottom dollar right now they'll do it in the '80s aesthetic.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, which could be. I'm thinking move it forward. Give us a RoboCop for this age because that movie is old. It's like 40 years old,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it
So
dates.
oh, I'm just sitting and thinking about it, yeah, and my brain is just sizzling in a lot of different ways. I definitely think. Have you ever seen the Tuxedo by Jackie Chan back in the day?
It's-
Yeah, okay.
that's
Yeah.
prime shenanigans, as you would call it.
Shenanigans, Jackie
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
It is Jackie Shenanigans. I
Jackie
have seen
Chan.
the tuxedo. What fun!
Okay, okay, okay. So but the basic concept is of he gets a suit programmed with a lot of different fighting and um, protocols and everything. But he is a buffoon, um, and it makes for it makes for
It
fun
does.
moments, makes for a cheesy little comedy. And I think having a that like it's just a normal guy but he has RoboCop now on top of him. Like his suit and the two clashing a little bit. That would be real funny. I think
That
that.
could also be interesting, yeah, to have this
Exactly.
duality. But everything has to have a social, political, common underlying every plot point, which is why I think RoboCop today wouldn't work. That's why it didn't work because that's what they did. They took RoboCop and they brought it into the new age and they just ruined it. I get that they were going for like a more very serious tone and everything. And that guy does very well, like Joel McKinnon, who plays RoboCop. He does it very well. But I like that actor, so maybe I'm just a little bit biased. But it's the bike. It's the bike, and he has a car, and he can fly in a jet, and it's all his RoboCop things. I think that maybe that's the only mistake they made. Maybe if they kept it like he's still part of the police force, he has to use normal police force things. He has a normal police car. He has a normal police bike.
Yeah,
He
he's not a
can be
superhero.
RoboCop on a horse, bro. I don't care, but just don't give him his own RoboCop bike. Because again, now you're just trying to sell toys. That's all that is.
That is all that is. That's funny.
But yeah, so
No.
RoboCop adaptation for the new age, I think would be cool if they stick to like the charm of the older movies,
Mm.
but as violent. They should keep it as violent also, because that's the other thing. The new RoboCop has a PG-13 rating. I don't want that. No, I
you
want his
so you wanted cheesier and the word you used was charming and violent.
it's charming and violent. Yeah,
Is
I
it
want him.
too much to ask for?
It's not. I feel it's not too much to ask for at all. But no, let's get some more Fast and Furious movies. If that's what the world needs.
Oh goodness.
Do you think one of those characters will at some point get a robotic arm? Because if anyone can, it's them. Let's be honest.
Uh, Imagine the Fast and the Furious becoming an extended universe with RoboCop in it. Just having,
Oh, $1 million idea right there.
just having.
Whoever owns the Robocop license, if you're listening to this, you're not. But if you are, reach out. We got ideas.
Oh, I would love that. That sounds just as great. Oh no, I'm dying here.
On to other adaptations, video game adaptations. The thing that should work but never does. Doesn't it feel like video adaptations should be the perfect thing? They should be the perfect joining of media
Yeah.
experiences because in video games you have lots of filler. You have you running around murdering a lot of people. But if you take out the story, most video games, that story can be told in 2.5, maybe 3 hours. It
But
can be
and
done.
yes, and it's always so rough to sit through. I don't know why. It's
Yeah, it's always extremely. Let's run them down. Tomb Raider sucks. The Uncharted movie sucks. I act like it didn't happen. All of the Resident Evil things. Like I know that initial series has some charm in it.
mm,
I personally think the third one is quite good, but everything else is obviously just bullshit. It's just shit thrown at a wall, seeing what will stick. But again,
it's
Resident Evil, for instance, I do not get why they can't get this right. It's one of those, it's simple, but genius in its premise. I mean, if you didn't know, so the original Resident Evil, the virus itself is a de-aging serum that puts, so your skin cells on your face, it reanimates the dead skin cells on your face so you stay young. But then obviously because they pushed it out, wasn't tested properly, it reanimates all your dead living or all your dead tissue, which causes zombies. That is simple and easy to do right there, but they've never once gone, here's what it is. It was developed as a skin cream, and then we figured out it doesn't actually work. So we kept it here, and then the outbreak and blah blah blah. Zombie things ensue. But that's not what happens. Is either you get super monster zombies at the end of each movie, or you get the rumbling dead with no character development or arc in between.
um shame. No, but I'm
Is
thinking
that what you are with the Resident Evil? Just shame.
it's no. I haven't seen. I'm not a zombie man in general. So zombie series and zombie movies they don't get me that much. Um, I'm definitely
Is it,
more
is it
into.
because there's no wizards?
Yes, it's because there's no wizards. No, but between the Halloween three, zombies, werewolves, and vampires, I much prefer werewolves. It's a tragedy that there's nothing good werewolf wise, but I will watch a trash werewolf thing any day of the week. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's true. Werewolves don't get a lot of love.
No,
They really don't.
no, they don't.
Shame. Yeah.
Shame.
Because I hear what you're saying. They definitely are. You can do lots of things with werewolf. My personal favorite werewolf adaptation is where there's some form of angel sent to be cursed to be living as a wolf, but it's actually just because so they can fight the vampires on Earth or whatever. That's my favorite type of werewolf. A la Van Helsing.
I
Yeah.
like. It's you're gonna mock me. I like them underworld visuals. I'm a
The
big fan.
lions, you mean?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Underworld series. That might be a remake I would actually like to see. Somebody who is good at writing take those and make them better. They're
Yeah,
real. I
those
don't
first ones aren't bad though. Like the original Underworld isn't bad
I
by any stretch.
flippin'
It's not
love
great
it.
though.
Yeah, that's the thing about it is I flippin' love it. I love the aesthetic of it, but it is also very cringy. for some reason, and I can't figure out why. Everything should work on paper, and I can't figure out why it doesn't. I just love those things. I would love to see a little remake about that, um, as well. So
The Underworld stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Underworld would actually be a cool remake. But on to adaptations in video games. So I think the Call of Duty franchise, specifically Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3, that would make just an amazing movie. Also a bit unfair given my own rules because, again, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is already on it. He's been. Can you believe, bro? Dwayne The Rock Johnson is going to do a Call of Duty movie. Ah, I
oh,
don't, I don't want it. I do not want it. I do
you
not
don't.
want it at all.
Okay, okay, okay.
'Cause
So
what's it gonna be? It's gonna be him hip firing just solo. I don't want that. Give me the nuance, give me the world stage because Call of Duty is cool and how they set up the conflicts.
hmm,
Why the conflict exists and all of that within their storytelling is really good. And I know the last remake, the 2019 Modern Warfare reboot, got a little bit of flack for being the same thing. But I played that game and I love the shit out of it. It's so cool. It's so cinematic and it's prime for a movie that you can fit in hour 40 minutes tops. Just a good old popcorn action movie. But I
yeah,
feel like also Call of Duty might be. It's also any other military movie is a Call of Duty
it's
movie
it's
essentially.
actually Call of Duty. See, and that is where we get into a little problem with our with adapting video games, I guess, which is always rough. Is what story do you tell? If
True.
if your thing has a proper story, um, then it seems it should be easy to tell it. But because games are about the story you tell as the player, um,
True.
it it always gets rough because that's not how you would have done it, or that's not how your story went, or you thought about a story even, because that's also another part about it. I think about Tomb Raider, and I'm also in a love-hate relationship with the Tomb Raider adaptations because I love the games. Uh, some of them, not all of them, are great. Some of them are
Also
like, oh,
fair.
yeah. Um, but you also see it in the new Tomb Raider games where they have her character, and she is a certain way, but it's contrary to how uh, you have to play her optimally. So optimally, you go in, you kill everything, kill everyone, you murder a bunch of deer, wolves, rabbits for
Anything with
spare
a
parts.
plus. Anything
Every
that glows gold when you
it,
press the R3
yes,
button must die.
they can upgrade your weapons. All those things are just upgrades waiting to happen. Um, you're crashing through this world, and then the cinematics start, and she's reluctant to kill people, and she would rather sneak to solve her problems than address it.
Mm. With
Going in blazing
violence.
with
Yeah.
her little arsenal on her back, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, we should negotiate." I'm like, "You could just shoot everybody." If I
Just shoot
was,
them. Just
if
take the
I was,
thing.
yeah, if I was in control, yeah, I would be shooting everybody. None of this. And I think now, if you take that and you adapt it to screen, it gets even worse because what I enjoyed about Tomb Raider was going everywhere and shooting everyone in the face and stealing their things and upgrading my gear and everything. And now you have a love interest for instance, in the movie, or somebody she
Yeah,
flirts with.
they fucking always do that to love interest.
Yeah, and I'm
Just
like,
wish they would let that go. It's not a subplot. It's what am I saying? Words. It's not a subplot to have a romantic entanglement. That's just human, and we all fuck. We don't care, man. That's not why we're here. We're here to see steal some gold-plated things from some ancient demons or whatever. That's what we want. And
I
for it
would
to
like
build up.
I would like a Wiccan treatment, I guess is what I would call it, of the Tomb Raider series, where they focus on the action because that's my favorite part of it, and not just shooty like John Wick would do. But Lara Croft is also very agile, very nimble. So
The
parkour
acrobats,
set.
yeah.
Yeah, all those
Yeah,
things.
definitely. You can have a parkouring through all sorts of things.
Yeah, man.
That's
And
very true. But they don't
yeah,
do that. They don't do that
no,
ever. No, what they do is they do the Uncharted movie, which is
is
yeah,
it?
this we actually wanted. This is why I got excited about this because I want to talk about the Uncharted movie
Yeah,
specifically. Because fuck that pile of horse shit, dude. It is insanely stupid in its conception, in the way it tells that story, the character arcs, and this is also a little bit of a problem I have with Hollywood because they tend to use whoever's hot and fresh and hot right now. In this case, was Tom Holland, but
well,
Tom Holland is no Nathan Drake, dude. Tom Holland
baby.
doesn't. No, he's babyface. And it's not that he's not handsome or charming enough to be Nathan Drake, because he is. He's a fantastic actor. I honestly believe that kid is going to win an Oscar in his life, if not multiple ones. But he doesn't look like someone that can take a punch, spew a one-liner, and then punch back.
No, and Nathan Drake. Correct me if I'm wrong. He seems like the kind of person that you could find um, passed out somewhere. Like he's a little bit of a scamp, right?
Well, to a
As
certain
it
degree,
like,
yeah.
as it, have I
He's not
misjudged him?
a little. I think you may have misjudged him a
Yeah,
little.
yeah,
It's probably based off Tom Holland's portrayal of Nathan Drake, so you're not at fault here. Tom Holland is. But he should have said no to that project. Liam Hemsworth would have been a far better cast. Because
yeah. He
Liam,
would be perfect.
yeah, 'cause he's pretty,
Yeah, it
and
does.
he's charming, and he looks like he can take a punch. Liam Hemsworth looks like a guy that you wouldn't find out of place in a bar fight, for instance.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm looking at it actually now as you're speaking about it, and I'm like, that would actually be a really good cast for that, Liam Hemsworth.
Liam
Oh,
Hemsworth would a
that,
far better one. But it does also feel like Sony is like testing their properties with adaptations because they have the newly formed PlayStation Studios. And this is exciting, but it's also very scary because it means at some point they will definitely do a God of War movie. And yeah,
oh,
they will definitely. But here's why you shouldn't get excited because they'll do it for the most recent one, the most famous one. I don't think they'll start at the beginning and they'll just do like 2 or 3 movies as the Greek arc and then move over to Norse mythology. Because you can have like between the games that we have now, you can have at least 6 movies. There's at least 6 movies worth of content there. But that's not what they're going to do. They'll start with the most recent one, and if we're lucky, we'll get flashbacks
and
to.
also, I wouldn't actually like to see every story the God of War game franchise has told being adapted. There's a lot of
Okay, yeah, you maybe not every single one. So
yeah, I
break
can
it
live
down. So
with
make a
that.
trilogy all inclusive. So
Yeah,
first movie Greek, second movie you introduce there's multiple things and they can still move over, and then the third movie the Norse one. But
yeah.
that's not what it'll be. And I'll probably give it to Tom Holland as well. Just shave his head.
Oh, Tom Holland would make a terrible Kratos. Okay, but
Oh, okay, he would make a
what
good Icarus though.
you would make a good Icarus. Oh, damn! You're just casting everybody today. We're
Hey,
gonna.
give me a job. Like, give me a job, Hollywood. Just do it.
Okay, who would you cast as Kratos though? Hey, that's
That
the
is
that's the trouble.
very, very difficult one because one, you'll have to get a recognizable name.
Hmm.
Um, Personally, I think going no name might be better. Do a long casting thing, like fucking audition
Uh,
thousands and thousands of people, and until
okay,
you get that
okay.
look. But if we're going with popular name or recognizable name, it'll probably go to Jason Momoa. And I
I
know
was
that's not how you say his name.
Momoa. Momoa?
Momoa.
No. What?
Momoa. Mumu. That
Mumu?
one. Yeah.
Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa. Momoa.
Yeah, that one.
I was
Should we
thinking
say if you put a
as
couple of tattoos on him, he'll do just fine.
excellent, excellent. I was
Yeah.
while you was talking about it, I was thinking of, oh, will he be a good one? Would it be a good choice? But I think that makes a good choice.
But
Um,
Kratos is not like he's tall, but a younger Vin Diesel could have done it.
yeah, he's
Um, it would probably be a Dwayne The Rock Johnson project as well. Because big guy,
oh,
you're gonna go for the big actor. That's just the way it is.
okay, but Dwayne the Rock Johnson would not be a good Kratos because
He wouldn't.
Kratos is not
No.
quippy and funny. Kratos is
And I
so
can't believe that you can see like Dwayne the Rock Johnson looks like a nice guy. If you look at him in
yeah, it
interviews, he
does.
looks like you can't shake that feeling when you look at him. That's why he doesn't play bad guys because it
Yeah,
won't be
because
believable.
It's unbelievable. I won't believe it. Him being, I
No.
won't believe it. I won't.
No, you won't. And you need someone who has no problems mowing down a church full of women to get to someone. And you need a guy like that. You need a guy that looks hard and evil and then changes as the story progresses. Because God of War as well, it's if it wasn't written as a video game and you just told that story as a Greek tragedy, people would believe you that it is one of the myths.
Yeah, which it is not. It
It's
is. It
not.
takes
Don't be fooled.
and I'm just saying, like Greek myth and adapting from Greek myth is a nightmare because they had a lot of different opinions about stuff going on in a lot of different times. Do you know there's two written records for Aphrodite's birth, like where she comes from? It is a nightmare. Um, and what was my original point? Oh yeah, but Kratos not in there, man, not in there. They're like,
Definitely not in there. But the story is well rounded enough that you could
it's good.
if you could
It's
find
real
someone
good.
in a bush somewhere that has never seen God of War and tell them that story as a myth, they'd believe you. Um, but I think the movie will just be. Also, the other thing is, and I'm not saying they do this because it does feel like we're starting to move away from it now, like this constant barrage of PC culture and all inclusiveness. We are moving away from it now. We're getting more and more movies again with two white guys, and that's it. And everyone else is just there. But the main guy is usually a white guy. I'm thinking of Grey Man specifically. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's a Ryan Gosling action movie on Netflix, produced. I'm not sure if they directed and written it as well by the Russo brothers. Very good though, like very entertaining. I liked it. I thought it was cool. But
Okay.
we're going back to that more classic style of movie making, where it's not like we get to our issues and we have to be more inclusive and all of that. Like it definitely has to be like that. But we should no longer move stories around to fit that narrative. We have to put that narrative into stories where it fits, almost sort of thing. And with God of War, I feel like that because it's olden timey, like it's slavery will be a thing, for instance, and you know
Yeah.
soldiers dying for gods and whatnot will be a thing. And it doesn't have to be like God of War only has to be three monsters. So he fights the Hydra in the beginning, then a little bit of story, then he fights something else like a fucking I don't know. Cyclops, I guess, and then he fights one of the gods at the end, and that's all it has to be. But that's not what it will be, if I had to guess. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just jaded now.
It would, yeah, they'll probably have a lot because you'll have to have a little bit more character development, I guess, if you're going to sell it as a movie. So you're going to be focusing on his tragic past a lot more than the games do, I guess, and he's going to be all grumpy and whatever.
Hmm.
Mm.
Definitely, no,
Wow.
that's definitely what they do.
What about Tom Hardy? Do you think he would pull it off?
Tom
Not.
Hardy, interesting wild card there, man. Maybe, actually, maybe. He definitely has the build for it. Like, if you take Tom Hardy from like Warrior,
Yeah.
you take that Tom Hardy, or even Bane Tom Hardy, cut his hair, make him grow a beard, paint him white. Yeah, I could see that. He looks like a guy that wouldn't mind murdering some women and children,
And
if he
yeah,
had to,
destroying the entire Greek
and showing
mythology.
this
And
pantheon.
moving on to other ones as well, excellent, most excellent.
What do you got for adaptations? But what would you like to see? What have you seen
Oh,
that you didn't like?
okay. I, I was getting like that pains me.
Yeah, it sounded
No,
quick. You need a minute.
I needed a minute for that. No, because something I've seen that I don't like, or I'm on the fence of it. Adaptation wise, is of course the Warcraft movie. Um, I
You
would.
shut your mouth. That movie is. Yeah, okay. You know how I feel about the Warcraft movie, but let's hear it.
No, because okay, wait. How do you feel about the Warcraft
I
movie?
love
Because
it. I love the shit out of that movie. I think it's
okay.
brilliant. It's fucking out there. Don't get me wrong. Like it's way over the top, but and I do agree with you because I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say that the people needed to be just as big as the orcs.
They needed to be CGI. I wanted
Then yeah.
everything in the
Mm.
iconic style of Warcraft. I wanted everything in that iconic style. And they went a different route. I'm a
And
little
they,
bit sour about that. But the other thing is that it's a lot. There's a lot going on because they're pushing hours of gameplay into one movie.
That's
And I
true.
think,
Walk-off law is quite an extensive thing, and there is like, and they what I like about it is it feels like it was made for the fans though. Like I get what you're saying, it's a lot,
yeah,
and to the average viewer it might not mean anything, but like having Gul'dan as your big bad and not explaining who he is or where he comes from or whatever, because who you're selling that to knows who he is. You understand
and
what I'm
also,
saying?
yeah, I think a long format, a series, taking it,
Maybe.
yeah, taking a series. So I actually just finished a series of unfortunate events. Also, very late, but I got to it eventually. And
You're
uh,
talking specifically about the Neil Patrick Harris Netflix one, right?
yes, yes,
Did
yes.
you like
And
that?
I, I can talk about it. I enjoyed it. But he actually makes a point in like the first or the second episode. He breaks the fourth wall, and he explains that a longer format series is uh, is much better than films for these kind of stories because you can take your time with them and actually explain everything properly and everything. And there is an actual conclusion to it, which the original movie didn't really have. But
Also
the
valid.
yeah. So some mysteries are solved and stuff like that, and it's interesting. But anyway, no, my point is, I think Warcraft could have been a really good series. It would actually have been interesting, making a multi-view point of view series like Game of Thrones. Just taking your time.
Ooh, that is an
Huh?
interesting idea. Yeah.
It's already a multi-point of view story. You're telling it from the human side and the orc side, and there's wizards, and so it's already a lot of characters. I just think it would have been interesting. You take 5, 10 episodes for that first movie, maybe five, more than 10. I don't know. I don't know how much you can stretch it out at the on the sides if you wanted to, but
Yeah,
I
no,
just
a show like that would have to be shorter amount of episodes because it will be expensive as well. Like those orcs don't come cheap.
oh
Like that
that's
CGI
yeah
is very
that's a
expensive. Yeah.
shame.
But yeah,
No,
yeah, maybe it would have because it was originally planned for 3 movies, but then the first one didn't do
yeah,
so well, so that's why they scrapped it. That's why you also get that exceptionally well done open ending for Warcraft because it is because if you know that baby goes up to be that is
yeah,
exciting stuff.
yeah. I
But
was
now
I was
we never
really
got it.
excited. So here's the thing: you could dial back on the graphics a little bit. Um, somewhere
It's interesting.
between.
Don't you think it would have been hated more if it didn't look as good? Because you can't really fault it for how it looks. It looks amazing. Like
It
it
looks
even
amazing. It
like
looks beautiful. No,
did you do you think you could have
it's
saved a little bit of money and maybe just written a longer form? You still would have gotten to the same end, maybe even a better one.
I think if you spend time with a little bit more time with the characters, and the situation, it would have been like a lot of stuff I would have cared more about, because there is some stuff that they want you to care about, but I just don't. Okay, for instance, I just forgot about it. That what's the guy's name? I just want to call him Ragnar because he played Ragnar. But I forgot his
No,
character's name.
that is how I know him as well. But,
Yeah, but his son dies, and I was like, yeah, but who cares? Because I didn't care about him as a character. I did care about the human guy, I guess.
mm, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. It's more like they're killing his son because it's
yeah,
close to him. It's not like going, here's a very good friend. We're like, why are they friends?
yeah,
Because someone
and
kills your son, it's like, oh, we get it. Your son
and if
died. That's all you need.
if you compare that with Thrall's father, and his death and his final scene, that
Mm.
is
Oh,
insane.
so cool. Yeah, I love it. Yes, I love the Warcraft movie. I watch that thing at least once every 3 months because I honestly believe it didn't get. But it is when you said it to me the first time. Looking back and every time since, if they made the humans the same size as the orcs, it would have just been better. Because it does look a little bit silly. How can that guy? Because those orcs are huge, man. They're huge, and their arms are like. And then this normal guy comes up and kills like 4 of them in a row. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Like he gets maybe one. But then the other three will definitely kill him. Look at the size of them. They also die from like seemingly superficial wounds.
Oh yeah, no, no, yeah. I wouldn't necessarily increase this size, but the reason I want them CGI, I wanted the live, what was live action. I just wanted more CGI of. I know, shocking, more CGI, crazy.
No
But
one
it's
asked
just,
for that ever.
yeah. But making the entire thing just an animated thing, you know how I feel about animated things. It's just a CGI generated thing right through, and everything in the iconic style that Warcraft is would have been top notch instead of having some people looking normal and not as. Here's my thing. I see your guy, but he does not look as cool as he should. He should
No,
look a lot cooler.
they
But
should have
anyway,
looked a lot cooler. They also
I
look dirty for some reason. Like the humans look dirtier than the orcs in that movie for some reason.
okay. But that's just what happens if you have live action on the one
Yeah,
side and CGI on the other.
people there. Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
I know, the
yeah.
Star Wars prequel trilogy.
Yeah,
Shame.
it has the same problem. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
problem, charm, whatever. It depends on
Hey,
your
what are
viewer,
you
I
gonna do?
guess.
What are you
Yeah,
gonna
what are you gonna do?
do? What
But
are you
yeah,
gonna say?
so that's adaptations, I guess. Things we're scared of. Video game adaptations, I still feel they should be a lot better than they are. But it also feels like you cannot. Because here's an interesting thing that the Russos said about cinema recently. They said if you. No, sorry, I'm lying to you. Eric Kripke, the guy, he made Supernatural, and now he works on The Boys. And he said
Mm,
if you come from an episodic background, like Supernatural, then there has to be a payoff in every single episode. But if you come from digital distribution background, then it's more you have 10 episodes to tell a singular story. That's why it's so longer. Understand?
ah,
So maybe get those guys to do
yeah.
the adaptations. Get the guys who are used to along. Get the guys from Stranger Things, because why is Stranger Things good? Nothing in it is particularly new. That whole story is basically a complete ripoff from it. Now, I know what you're going to say. Oh, that's only the aesthetic. That's only because they use like the same setting, but it's not. Even it, the monster itself, is a trans-dimensional thing, and he breaks a little bit through, like a little bit of it breaks through, and that's what manifests as Pennywise. But so the overall Stranger Things, it's exactly that. The reason why it's good is all because you care about the characters. The characters spend time together and they have very normal conversations
Mm,
about things that they enjoy and have common ground. And you really learn to care for them. My favorite being the Hare himself, the Hare Harrington.
mm,
He's a good example of that. Him and that girl just being good mates. They're just good friends and they're just doing this, but they also have then this thing that they have to fight. So the stranger thing of it all.
yeah.
Understand? I'm not making my point clear. I think I trailed off a
I
little bit.
I haven't watched the end of Stranger Things. Do they have a underage orgy? Because then it's nothing like it at all, really.
Because that's the only defining factor of it is the orgy. Do you remember when those remakes came out for it? Also an adaptation. We can talk about it, a reboot. Though everyone was like, "Yeah, but it's not the books because those kids aren't fucking each other." It was like, no,
Oh,
you can't show
yeah,
that
but
on TV. It's against the law.
it's a strange hill to
Yeah,
die on.
yeah, it is. It is a weird thing to care about.
Hmm. No, I just wanted to mock you a little bit there. I just wanted to mock you a little bit there. But
Hopefully, you won't be the last.
I hear you. A lot of the times, it's not about like the high level ideas, but the little details of how you've executed this, how you've set
Exactly.
something up, and
Yes.
how you. Did you make me care about your story? Do I want to hear the end of it, or is it more of a thing like, uh, there's more story? Can we end it now? You know?
You start looking at the episode count on the Netflix, you're like, yes, 4 more episodes of this. Fuck.
Goodness, eh? So I'm at this point I'm like that with the MCU and Star Wars as well. They're both sitting in the corner at this point because
Yeah, a little.
because it's mainly because, no, for instance, the Obi-Wan one. I'm going off on a little tangent here, just so you know. So the Obi-Wan story, and people are like, "Oh, have you watched it?" And I'm like, I don't really understand why actually should. Is it,
They got Hayden Christensen back and he put him in a suit for all of 15 minutes, and that's why. That's
okay,
why you should care.
okay. I think I might watch it for that Darth Vader scene alone because that looks good. But anyway, I just wanted to go on a little tirade, yeah, about that. Have you made me care about your story? Because that is very important to me. I want to be, can't wait to get to the end to see how it ends, and that
Mhm.
feeling. creating that feeling. Subtle art. That's why you hear things and you see trailers, but they come out and it's trash, and you can't understand why they took something that you liked and made it into something that you don't like, which is a weird little alchemical trick to do, actually.
Yeah,
I get
it's
it.
sneaky if you think about it. True.
Yeah, so it's strange. I enjoy this media. I already love it. I will spend hours of my life on it, and then you make it, and thanks. I hate it. You've done it wrong. I don't know if it's caring too much. That's the problem. I don't
Maybe.
know.
Oh, yeah, maybe. It could be. It's definitely valid.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, make me care about your story, eh? Make me
Mm.
make me care about your story. Yeah.
That's what we want.
Um,
Make us care about your characters as well before you start unceremoniously killing them off. We need to care
yeah.
about them before that happens.
Yes.
Again, a la Game of Thrones.
Game
That's
of
what they
yeah.
did. That's what they did correct.
And
Even though
what's
I still believe that Game of Thrones is more about, like, if you don't look at it as story being told about singular characters, it's more story being told about the overall um, ideology in the realm. It's better. It's more digestible than all the murders that they commit against the court's characters because it's a bigger picture kind of thing. But then do that if that's the way you're. You understand what I mean? If that's the way you're leaning, then do that. Then do. Let's not do individual characters. Let's not do Thrall and the King and the Wizard for Warcraft, for instance. Let's do the overall thing. Let's do. There's a war coming. Blah blah blah.
That's
But
very
yeah.
interesting. Okay, but I
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw in here. I did care about parts of the story. So didn't care about the son, but I did care about Dierotan.
Yeah.
And his arc. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful flippin'
It
arc.
is really good. Yeah, it gets it's underrated. Him, my favorite scene is him chilling on that hill, going. You see
Oh,
this,
yeah,
this, this. The magic is from death. There must be a price, and the world's dying, and he doesn't want to see the same things happen to this world than happen to that. It's all very good,
it's
but yeah,
very really good.
shame it didn't do better. Do you think if they had to do a Warcraft movie now, if they did that same movie now, it would do better?
Mm, that's interesting. Like with the last week of Comic Con being all prequely adapty, and
Exactly. If you think it was a brand new project and they released it now, do you think it would have done better?
I think it would have, if it came now, where everybody's actually gearing up for their Game of Thrones sequels. People throwing ideas against the wall. I think I would have had an interesting time with it, actually.
Yeah, me too. I also think it would have done a little bit better if it was like that. But
And
yeah,
because
that's just us. We're just two guys on the internet now.
we're just two guys on the internet. So this is actually a little weird one, just to drive the topic in another direction. A remake adaptation or a live action adaptation I would like to see, that is a
Mhm.
remake, is Treasure Planet and Atlantis, the two
Treasure
Disney.
Planet and Atlantis. Amazing choices. Is it specifically those type of, because you can even throw an El Dorado there, that very
Ooh,
specific animation
come on.
style. Ooh, Titan AE. How about some Titan AE for you?
Okay, Titan AE would actually make a really good live action adaptation. Damn.
Treasure Planet is a good one, but like the animated movie. Okay, keep it
Yeah,
sci-fi, fantasy.
sci-fi fantasy. You go crazy on it. You fill our eye holes with space CGI
Yeah.
things for 2 hours. Sounds
Yes,
flippin'
that's what we
brilliant.
want. That would
Brilliant.
actually be very cool. That is a very good choice. I haven't seen those movies in quite a while. Maybe we should do them this week. We can definitely rewatch those
I
movies. I think they'll
I
be great.
have I have
Yeah.
an entire
Yeah.
rabbit hole about Atlantis and how
Yeah.
they portray masculinity in it. I have an essay.
Then we should get into it. But
Yes.
I think that's it for now. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for spending some time here with us. If we said anything that you like or didn't like, please let us know in the comments down below. I've been Etienne.
This has been Merlin. Thanks for joining us.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye bye.